Good evening, beautiful people. I wanted to come on here this evening to talk about my healing journey and my health over the last 20 years, because I think it's paramount, not only now but always, for people to really look after themselves and their health and to realise what is possible. I'll be totally honest, this is the first for me, completely out my comfort zone, feeling extremely nervous, but I'm going to do my best. Hopefully some people will watch and maybe they will get inspired and have some sort of faith and belief that anything is possible if you really want it. I started my healing journey, it was 20 months ago, and at that point in time I was riddled with chronic disease, autoimmune disease and severe mental health problems. And I was following a beautiful lady, Lucy, who basically shined the light and showed me what was possible for my life by sharing her journey, which inspired me and resonated. And I have managed to heal and reverse lifelong chronic diseases or dis-ease that I thought I was literally going to live with for the rest of my life. And okay, so what I thought would probably be a good idea really was to strip it back to the earlier years to give you an idea roughly of the sort of things that I'm talking about. So when I was 14, I had a car accident and I damaged my lower back, and I suffered with a poorly back throughout my life from that point. Another thing that I suffered with as a teenager was tonsillitis. So once a month, every month, probably without fail, I would have my tonsils swell up. I would have sort of putty poison on them, could barely breathe. And this went on for about 8-10 years, to the point till I was 18. And at 18, they decided to remove them. You still get, hey Kiki, thank you for joining, beautiful. I would still get tonsillitis, but obviously I could breathe, so that was one thing. By the time I was 18 then, I was quite susceptible to stress and I started suffering with migraines. And so I was on pain meds for migraines and I was on pain meds for my lower back. And the depression seemed to sort of start in then as well. And from memory, I believe I was on some sort of antidepressants on and off through those sort of early years or early 20s. Life events happened, quite a few of them, and I had 2 children and I moved to Bournemouth. And that's where the diagnosis really started kicking in. So I was already had pain meds. I'd already had some sort of antidepressants, but not many. And when I moved to Bournemouth, the diagnosis started and I was under a psychiatrist and doctors and the mental health team for, 15 years in the end, but that's when it started. And so the depression then grew into anxiety. Then it was the panic attacks, then insomnia. If I just kind of list off the sort of diseases that I was diagnosed with, you'll get an idea of the perspective of it. Emotionally unstable moods, cyclothymia, which is mood changes, borderline personality disorder, stress disorder, irritable bowel syndrome, chronic heartburn and indigestion, low immune system, underactive thyroid, hyperthyroidism, possibility of Hashimoto's, which is autoimmune of the thyroid, bipolar, they questioned, high blood pressure, obesity, chronic kidney disease, osteoarthritis, restless leg syndrome, and the most latest, the last one, was fibromyalgia. So of course it started with mental health, which, if you listen to sort of like the list of things, it then eventually went into my physical health. From the underactive thyroid point, which was 12 years ago, I gained weight and I went from 10.5 stone to my top was 17.4 stone, I believe. And now, well, I've actually lost nearly 5 stone. Since May this year, I've lost 3 stone 4 pounds alone. So of course, all of that is going to make a massive difference on your health. Alongside the diagnoses that I stated, I also suffered with OCD, severe skin picking, which I would do maybe up to 18 hours of a day at one point, till I bled and I couldn't sit down. I mean, literally, it was very chronic. I also had a couple of overdoses. I also suffered with Bell's palsy, which is face paralysis, twice. And I also suffered with 3 mini strokes, TIAs. With all of those different diagnoses and things going on, last February, I had got to the point where I literally was just existing. I'd given up. I had no zest for life. I was the most negative Nancy person that you could ever possibly imagine. I was very much stuck in victim mode, blaming everything and everybody around me for everything that was going on. The only person I really didn't look at was myself. And so February last year, bearing in mind I'm a mum of 4 and I have my husband, and not wanting to be here anymore with that was devastating. I really could not see any way out. I had no light in my life. I lived from bed to sofa and was just sick, chronically sick, and so trapped and lost in my head that I just couldn't see a way of moving forward or getting out of that rut. And as I said, a dear friend was also going on her healing journey and was following a beautiful lady called Lucy. And in the March, I arranged to meet Lucy, and she clarified from doing an assessment on me that all the things that I've said that were wrong with me, and she didn't know that obviously, but from the assessment that she did, and she advised me of what I could do to start putting things in place, to start getting to the root cause of all this chronic dis-ease in my body. And she asked me how serious I was about it and how much I wanted it. And my response was, I've never wanted anything more in my life. At that point, it wasn't about a choice. This was my only choice, and I had to do it. No one was going to come and save me. No one was going to, come and get me out of that trap that I was in. And so I told her that I would absolutely wanted this more than anything. And I went on a massive mission. I went on to do massive amount of inner work. I changed my lifestyle. I changed my diet. I changed my mindset. I changed my language. I changed the people that surrounded me. I changed what I put in my body, on my body, and everything. Because all of these things make a difference to who you are and how you are and your health. And it went on a massive journey of self-love, learning to love myself, something that I'd never, ever done before. Something that was quite alien to me, really. I would love on everybody else, but yeah, just not myself. And with all these diagnoses, of course, I was heavily, heavily medicated. Yes, I have written sort of a list of some of those medications because, yeah, just in case I forgot, just to give you some sort of idea, I was on the highest doses as well of these medications, not just a small amount. I had a very high tolerance, and what would happen is they would start you at a low dose to try and help you, and then that dose would increase and increase and increase. And in the end, do you know what? It was actually the side effects of all these prescription medications that were probably worse than the actual diagnosis and the health things themselves. I was on levothyroxine, which is for your thyroid, 200 milligrams, the maximum dose. Quetiapine, Seroquel, which is an antipsychotic sedative, 450 milligrams a night. A Zinert antibiotic lotion for your face and stuff like that, where I used to pick and get infected. Macrogol, which is for your toilet and stuff like that. I used to get constipated. Lansoprazole, 30 milligrams, and that's for heartburn and indigestion. Pramipexole, which is for restless leg syndrome. Morphine, 60 milligrams of morphine per day at the age of 40 years old. Venlafaxine, 300 milligrams a day. That's an antidepressant. Ariprazole, 10 milligrams. Tramadol, a pain relief. That's 50 milligrams. Zoloft, which was a sleeper. Diazepam, another sleeper. Even lithium. Paroxetine, mirtazapine, citalopram. You get the idea. And all of these I used to take. And to the point where before I went on my journey, this is how I'd get my medication delivered to my front door once a week, because at one point I couldn't be trusted with more than that. And because they're controlled drugs, because they're very strong, and also because I would not even remember to order them, and so I'd be without or whatever. So, starting this journey from meeting Lucy in the March last year, in 6 months, I managed to get off every single one of my medications. Sorry, it's making me quite emotional. The one thing Lucy asked me was, what is the one thing that we can do, that we can work on, that you want more than anything else? And I said, to be off that medication. And in 6 months, I got off every single one. Not with the doctor, not with anybody else, or I did it on my own. By that time, I was learning about my body from a different perspective. And I knew very much how the medication worked, how it reacted, what it did to my body, and stuff like that. I wouldn't advise it to anyone, as in, no, I think you should do it with a doctor and do it safely. I had to do it very slowly. I had to do it one tablet at a time. I had to do it at one type of tablet at a time, literally. You've just got to really, really want it enough. I used to think it was normal, to be honest, when I was given those diagnoses. I was like, okay, that's good. Not good as in, oh, happy about it, but it made sense. It made me feel like I was normal, that I fitted into a category or into a diagnosis, that how I was feeling and stuff that was going on was normal. So I accepted it and accepted it and accepted it till 20 diagnoses later, 21 prescribed medication tablets per day, 7 stone overweight, lived from my bed to my sofa, poor diet, smoked for 29 years, heavily medicated, partying, lots of alcohol, lots of recreational drugs, lots of crap foods, no exercise, and living inside a head that just did an over and over thinking, constant overthinking. And one thing I have learned is that, guess what? Whatever you tell yourself, you will always, always be right. And I used to sit there saying, you're useless, you're no good, you're not loved, no one cares, you're not important, you're fat, you're ugly, you're this, you're that, procrastinating, complete self-sabotage and procrastinating. And what was one of the biggest, hardest lessons of all of this is actually going, do you know what? This is my fault. Things that happen to us and experiences and stuff that goes in our life is not our fault. Things that are outside of our control. But how we react, how we deal with it, what we do with it afterwards is totally our responsibility. And we're sort of brought up in a society where we conform to live a certain way, do certain things. You know, we get married, we have children, we do this, we do that, and blah, blah, blah. All that sort of stuff. But actually no one really teaches us and supports us how to really take care of ourselves. Nutrition, what we surround ourselves with, and all the really important things in life. And people go through their life thinking that it's normal to have aches and pains and to have gut issues and to have all these health issues. They're not normal. They really are not normal. And the human body is an incredibly powerful, and we are capable of doing anything that we set our mind to. Now, if I can reverse, I can get off all those medications in those 6 months like I did. And then I went to the doctors and I asked her to retake all of my bloods, which she did. And when I went to see her to discuss it at the end, she said, I'll be honest, I really don't know what you've been doing or how you've done it, but I take my hat off to you. You somehow or other, all my blood works came back as normal. So I'd reversed my lifelong dis-ease of thyroid, my underactive thyroid. I'd reversed it back to normal. My chronic kidney disease, I'd reversed back to normal. My blood pressure was back to normal. All of the diagnoses that I mentioned in the beginning, I had reversed them all back to normal. My bloods were normal. And I shared with her a lot of the things that I've been doing and how I've been doing it. And she got up and gave me a huge hug. Because it didn't make sense scientifically, but she could see what a completely different person that she'd been treating for the last however many years, and said, you were so sick. I just cannot even begin to believe the difference. And all of this, honestly, is just from my personal perspective. It's my feelings, my emotions, my life, and how I've done it for me. I'm not saying I'm wrong or right. I'm not saying what would work for me would work for you. It's all about learning what works for you, finding the tools, finding the support, finding the people and the belief, and really learning to love yourself. Put yourself first at your to-do list, being mindful of what you allow anywhere in your life, whether that's what you listen to, whether that's what you watch, whether that's the group of people you surround yourself, whether that's the relationships you're in, what you fuel your body with, what you eat, what you drink, whether you exercise, all sorts. It's the whole thing. And I knew when I started the journey that Lucy and Claire, my friend, obviously had gone on to heal themselves, and I knew it was possible. And I just thought, if they can do it, so can I. There has to be more to life than this. That's the point I got to, which made me switch to get on and do it. And as I say, no one is going to come and save you. You have to get up and do that on your own. And people can support you. People can give you advice and things to do. But you have to do the work. You have to do the inner work. All chronic dis-ease in your body is related to stuff that's gone on in your life that you're storing in your body, that's manifesting into the dis-ease. But it is all completely reversible. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, I'm not anything special, but what I do know about is myself and my journey, what I've lived through, how sick I was, how much I've improved, how much I've changed my life. I mean, literally flipped my life on its ass and started again I had to train myself to speak differently almost. My language was just so negative. I've had to learn to have faith and to believe in myself and to sit there, and whether it took every day for 6 months, I did daily affirmations. I did hundreds of them. I knew that was the only way. Well, I thought that might be the only way that would actually get into my head to keep saying them. And at the beginning, you don't think that you're beautiful and all of that sort of stuff that you go through when you go on your journey. And it comes over time. I'm far from completely healed. I don't think we're ever always, be completely perfectly healed. I think we'll continue on our journeys no matter what, as different things arise and different things happen in different ages of your life. And I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about the life I can start living. I'm excited about what is possible. And I feel very blessed and very grateful. Sorry. For still being here today and learning to be the best possible version of myself, for me, primarily for me, and for my children and those that I love and care about. And I hate to see people sick or in the same sort of, mindset, or living with pain and disease and all of this stuff that goes on. And I think it's not spoken about enough. We all need to come together and share our stuff and make it more spoken about and more normal and more accepting, and work together on healing ourselves and get away from pharmaceutical, synthetic medication. The side effects, I can't even begin to tell you. I had just juddery teeth. I had shakes. It looked like I had, I can't remember the name of it, but when you have I was like that, teeth juttering. I didn't know what day it was. 20 months ago, I would ask my children maybe 10 times a day, what day is it? What day is it? As if I had Alzheimer's or something. It was that bad. I was so lost and so in such a bad place. And I wanted to share those different diagnoses and the medication and stuff like that for you to get a whole sort of perspective of maybe you suffer with 1 or 10 or whatever, any of those. Know that it is possible. Know that you can change your life. You have a choice every single second of every single minute of every single day in what you do, how you act, how you think. And it's not easy. It's far from easy. I'm not happy or buoyant, flying all over the place and everything be perfect. Not anywhere near. I'll be honest, no, I'm not. I have up, down days. Yes, I've healed and reversed these severe illnesses that I had. But the mental health side, that's still very much a work in progress. Very much. I'm up and down all the time. Yes, there are lots of things that I put in place and implement to make them easier. I don't sit in that for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years like I was. It got down to, a month, weeks. Now it's on days. It's having awareness of when those things change and doing something about it. It's being really real with yourself, owning that this is you. It's not somebody else. It's not your mum, your dad, your brother, your friends, your sister, whoever. Yeah, you have a choice. You really do have a choice. I didn't think I had a choice. I thought that was me. I thought that was me for the rest of my life on all of those medications. Rattling around on all of that. If I can get off all of that medication, if I can change those chronic disease, if I can learn to be my best version and change my life so significantly, so can you. Every single one of you also can do it. I promise you. I just feel that if I can help give someone a little bit of faith, a little bit of belief, a little bit of inspiration, that they can resonate with me and that they could also go on that journey, then that's just amazing. That makes my heart and soul sing. I want people to be happy and healthy. You need to live the life. You're here once. And it's a miracle. And we should be very grateful and blessed for every single day that we live. We get up and wake up in the morning and we can do whatever we want to do. I will continue to come on here and go into different parts of my journey and different aspects of it, because I think there's so much to talk about. There's so much gone on. And as I say, I'm not an expert. I'm just an expert in me, starting to be an expert in me and starting to get on top of it and choosing to be a better person. Because you know what? The only person that lives in here is me. No one else. No one else feels that. Yes, we can all have similar things and we all do similar things and we suffer similar and all that sort of stuff, but no one actually lives in here except me. The same with all of you. We are all beautiful beings, miracles that live our life. And if you were like me, I lived in the past. Blame, 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 victim. And I also lived in the future. When I get this, when I do this, when I do that. All the when, if, buts and maybes. But you know what? I never actually sat present. Being present in the moment. Because in that moment, there is none of that bad attachment from the past. There is no that wishing for the future. It's just present now. And being in that moment makes so much difference. Rather than being trapped in your mind, in your ego that tries to keep you safe, that tries to tell you otherwise. But actually falling back into your heart space, coming from a space of love, which is what Lucy teaches, which has been my saving grace. And I will be forever grateful for her support and help. And changing my life. As you can see, I get very emotional still. I can't even tell you how different I am from now to then. It's been an amazing journey, a roller coaster, and it continues to be so. But life is good, and I'm grateful. I am very, very grateful. I hope this has helped some people. I hope maybe you can resonate with it. I hope that it will do some good. And as I said, I will come on again and I will share more in depth into different areas of it. And hopefully we can help lots of people get much healthier, living their best version, loving themselves truly, and living a happy life. That doesn't mean that stuff doesn't go on. That doesn't mean that things aren't difficult. That doesn't mean that, life doesn't get in the way, because it does. Absolutely. But what it means is that we all deserve happiness, health, and a long life. So I will say goodnight and hope you have a beautiful rest of your Sunday evening. And I look forward to coming on and sharing some more with you again soon. Take care. If no one's told you today, you're beautiful and I love you. Take care.